my name is Jenny, and I am a teacher. And I've been teaching, this is my 7th year teaching, and I've taught in 3rd and 4th grade, and this coming year I am excited to start a new adventure in 1st. And so I wanted to just make a video because in preparation for 1st grade, I've been looking up lots of books on Pinterest that are great for read alouds for little ones, and I have ordered so many books, and I just wanted to share them with you guys and show you what books I got, why I got them, because I'm excited. I'm gonna move that over here. So, some books. Alright, so the first book, I'll just go from top down. The first book that I got is The Word Collector. So the reason that I got The Word Collector is because I know in the upper grades, because that's the only experience I have right now, in the upper grades we talk a lot about finding different words and using different words whenever we are writing, and that we can find a lot of those words in our reading. And so I was looking on Pinterest and I came across The Word Collector, and it's about a little boy who loves words, and he collects them from places that he sees, things that he hears, and it can be little words, it can be big words, it can be fancy words. They don't have to be fancy words, and he collects them all in these books, and he organizes them all, and then he ends up tripping and all of the words go everywhere. And then he finds that when you combine the words, it makes them even better. So I grabbed this book because I love the idea of collecting words with my kids. We've used Lucy Calkins in our school district, and talks about collecting words there, but I also like to use Daily 5 in Cafe. And in the Cafe there is an expand your vocabulary section, and I thought that would be really great for this. So I plan on reading this as a read aloud to my kiddos, and hopefully we can collect some words. I love the idea of like hanging them around the room. I'm really big into like hanging stuff from the ceiling in my room. I like to really create a mood, and so I think this would be a really great book to read for that purpose. So the first book that I got was The Word Collector. Okay, and then the next book that I got was What If Everybody Did That? Because we have a version at our school that's more school-centered, but it goes into what if everybody did those little things that to us, it doesn't seem like a big deal because it's just me doing it, but what if everyone did that? And so I love the idea of reading this book to my kids, and then creating our own version of what if everybody did that with the school. So like running our hands along bulletin boards. What if everybody did that? What would they look like? So I'm really excited to read this to my 1st graders this year and to see their picture pages, and then we'll bind the books together. I've got big plans. So this is a really great book. I guess I should tell you who they're by. So What If Everybody Did That is by Ellen Javernick. Like that kind of gives you an idea for what is in store. And The Word Collector is by Peter H. Reynolds, from the author of Happy Dreamer and The Dot, which I'm sure you guys have heard of those books. So, the next book is called This School Year Will Be the Best by Carrie Winters, illustrated by Renee Andriani. This is just a really great book to read. I read it to my kids this year in 3rd grade, and it was a really great book to read as far as goal setting goes. So we read this at the beginning of the year, and it's really good for coming up with your vision. What do you want to accomplish by the end of the year? So that is a great book. I think my kids next year will enjoy that. And then this one I'm sure you have all heard of, but it is How Full Is Your Bucket for Kids, written by Tom Rath and Mary Brickmeyer, illustrated by Mari J. Manning. So the idea behind the buckets, this was something that was really big in my school a few years ago, And it talks about how when people say and do nice things for you, it fills your bucket. And whenever they do things that aren't so great, it dips from your bucket. We don't ever want our friends to have an empty bucket. So it's just a really great lesson, whether we use it school-wide or not. I know that our school has this book floating around, but I didn't have it in my classroom, so I definitely want to read this to my kids and talk about feelings and having empathy for others. Now, this book, The Energy Bus for Kids by John Gordon, illustrated by Corey Scott. Now, this book, I'm very excited to try this year. I had never read this book before, but I did see the adult version, which I have that too. I guess I can go grab that. But this book talks about having positive energy, and I love the idea of using this in the classroom with my kids to teach them how to have like the best energy that you can possibly have and a positive outlook for your day. And so it's got, I think, 5 rules, maybe? I think it's 5 rules. Having more joy in your day, and it's about a boy who gets on the bus and there's a new bus driver, and she kind of helps him have a more positive outlook about school. So super excited about this one. We have lesson plans and things that go along with this that I plan on doing in my class meetings in the morning. So really looking forward to this one, and I cannot wait to see how this impacts my kids' positivity for the day. Alright, give me just a sec because my oven went off. Okay, I'm back. While I was up, I also grabbed the adult version, which is The Energy Bus by John Gordon. And I'm really looking forward to this. This past year, I kind of went through a little bit of a slump in my teaching. Kind of was feeling down, maybe needed a fresh start, which is why I'm trying first grade this year. But when I heard about these 2 books, I realized maybe the problem is with me and my outlook, and I need to be more positive. So I'm very excited. I haven't read this one yet, but a friend let me borrow this, and I am so excited to try The Energy Bus for Kids with my kids. And I have 2 copies because one of my new teammates, she gave me one too. I had talked to her about it and she'd already used it and she said it's amazing. So she gave me a copy without knowing that I had already ordered one. So I'm looking forward to gifting my copy to someone else. I also got the First Day Jitters. This was the first year that I read this book to my kids, and I loved it. Just about having jitters on the first day of school, worrying about people that you're going to be there with, the teachers, and all of that stuff. And in the end, you find out something about the main character who you think is a child, but you just have to read to find out. So this is the First Day Jitters by Julie Danberg, illustrated by Judy Love. So I really love reading that. First day of school is a great day for that one. Then I also got Ruby the Copycat by Peggy Rathman, and the reason that I got this one is because I just remembered this from when I was a kid, and it just seemed to be a staple in all of my teachers' classrooms, and I love it because we do have kids who tend to copy other kids, and so I think it's just a nice book to read, just so you can be yourself, be unique, be you. And then I also got The Substitute Teacher from the Black Lagoon by Mike Thaler, illustrated by Jared Lee. And the reason I got this, I also got The Teacher from the Black Lagoon. And the reason I got these is kind of, The Teacher from the Black Lagoon is kind of like First Day Jitters. It's just a great book to read, just to kind of get the scary stuff out of the way and kind of make it a little bit silly. Then I got The Substitute Teacher from the Black Lagoon because I like having substitute teachers read this to the kids during class meeting, and then learning about the actual substitute teacher beforehand, just to kind of get some sillies out and, you know, make them realize having a substitute teacher is not so bad. They're generally wonderful people. So I got those. And then I got Miss Malarkey Doesn't Live in Room 10, which I read this book to my kids this year. Oh, sorry, it's by Judy Fincher, illustrated by Kevin O'Malley. And I read this to my kids this year, and it was really great. I loved it because it puts teachers shows teachers in the light that kids see us in, that we live at the school, we drink from the drinking fountain, we sleep under our desks. But then also he finds out his teacher is actually a real life person. And so I think that's important for kids to realize, is that we are people, we make mistakes, we are just like them. So I got this book to read to my kiddos. This one is really great. This one is called The Plot Chickens by Mary Jane and Herm. I think it's Auch, A-U-C-H, ouch, Auch. This book is really great for teaching the writing process. So I used this in one of my writing lessons this year. Basically, this chicken, she wants to write a story, and it goes through all of the different stages of the writing process. And so as we read, we wrote down the different stages and steps that you have to go to, and then we had it on a poster, and we were always able to go back to that. But it is a funny story, and I love that it goes through all of the steps of the writing process. So, Plot Chickens, great book. Another book that I got was 7 Rules You Absolutely Must Not Break If You Want to Survive the Cafeteria, by John Grandit, illustrated by Michael Allen Austin. The illustrations in this book are awesome. But on top of that, yeah, they're beautiful. There are a few versions of this book, and I liked it because, again, it's a great way to introduce the rules of the school, and in this particular case, the cafeteria. I know there's one on the bus as well, because going to school can be kind of scary, and so this book kind of walks you through what happens if you break the rules. What happens if you forget them? Is everything going to be okay? The answer is yes, of course. So, yeah, I got this one as well. This next one is kind of like Ruby and the Copycat. Miss Nelson is Missing. I love this book. This was another book that when I was in school was always in my teacher's classrooms. And it's a classic. So it's by James Marshall. And this would also be a great one to have, either to have a substitute read, or you read when you get back from having a substitute, or before you have a substitute. Basically, her kids are just awful to her, and she ends up going away, and they get a very mean substitute teacher, and by the time their teacher gets back, they're so thankful to have her that they are just wonderfully behaved. So, Miss Nelson is Missing, classic book, and I absolutely love it. Then I was so excited to get this one. This is Do Unto Otters, a book about manners by Lori Keller. There's a great read aloud actually of this on YouTube with music and everything. But it's basically about this rabbit who has otters move in next door, and he's very nervous about what they're going to be like. And so he's just told, do unto otters as you would have done to you. And so it's got cute little illustrations. And yeah, I think it's really important for kids to know how we treat one another. So it's a great book to read while you're talking about rules and empathy and how you treat your classmates. So kind of setting that tone at the beginning of the year. So I was really excited to get this one. And the last one is The Bad Seed by Jory John, illustrated by Pete Oswald. And the reason that I got this book is during our quarantine this year, we did weekly read alouds, and we had a teacher read this one to students. And I just loved how she read it, first of all. But second of all, I love the message of the story. I teach in a low-income area, and a lot of our kids have been through a lot of different things, and that's exactly what happened with this seed. Was he was a really good seed, and then something really bad happened, and it changed him. But the book is really great because it's about you're not a bad seed, you just always strive to do the right thing. And sometimes I think our kids get it in their heads that, oh, I'm a bad kid because I make bad decisions, or somehow they've kind of made that opinion of themselves, whether they heard it from somebody else or they just feel like they're always doing the wrong thing. But to know that no, you're just like everybody else, you just gotta strive to do the right thing. So I was really excited to get this book. those are all of the books that I have bought over the course of this quarantine. That I am so excited to read next year. If you have any suggestions for books that you've done in read alouds before, or you've read some of these books and you are excited, just as excited about them as I am, please leave a comment down below. Or book suggestions. I'm always up for suggestions. If you'll leave those down in the comments below, that would be great as well. But I hope these books inspired you to find some books that you would like to do for read alouds, and hopefully I will see you back here with another video. Bye!